I'm an A-list actress, but when I went to a remote village to film a reality show, I became hell-bent on marrying the village's old bachelor. I cut ties with my parents and was scorned by everyone. It wasn't until I was dying that I learned I'd been cursed. Now that I'm reborn, I will find the person who did this to me and take back everything that belongs to me. OMG, has Mia Sutton lost her mind? Someone must have put a spell on her, right? It's not a spell. She's just completely lovesick. It's so extreme it's disgusting. I'm officially done with her. Mia used to have this whole intellectual brand, talking about her Ivy League degree, and now she's marrying some middle school dropout bachelor? I can't believe it. She's an A-list star. Think of the terrible influence this will have on her young female fans. It's infuriating. The internet was flooded with news about me, but I ignored it all, nestled happily in Connor's arms. Connor was 36, a full 10 years older than me. He dropped out of middle school and stayed home to work on the farm. I met him when I came to his village to film a reality show called A Star in the Sticks. The show's premise involved 4 female celebrities marrying into rural families, living under the same roof as their new mothers-in-law. We had to eat, sleep, and work alongside them, a total test of our character and abilities. I was assigned to Connor's house. Although his mother was harsh and treated me poorly, Connor was gentle. We had only known each other for a week, but I fell deeply in love with him. To be with him, I broke my contract with my agency and paid a fortune in cancellation fees. My parents chased me to the village, crying and threatening to disown me, but I didn't care. I couldn't leave Connor. I thought this was love. In the 3 years I was married to him, he and his mother burned through all my savings. Once the money was gone, Connor started beating me whenever he felt like it, but I took it all willingly. It wasn't until I was on my deathbed and met a traveling mystic that I learned I'd been cursed. You're under the darkest kind of binding spell. Not only does it strip you of your reason, but it also drains your life force. You won't live past 3 years. He broke the curse for me. I held on with my last breath and called my parents. Mom. The line went dead. I'd forgotten. My mom had blocked my number after my dad died of a heart attack last year. I was filled with so much hate. I'd been ruined, and I didn't even know who my enemy was. I stared at the ceiling, 2 streams of bloody tears running from my eyes. If only I could do it all over again. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day I first arrived in the village. My agent, Luna, who was also my best friend, was excitedly waving a contract in her hand. Mia, I fought so hard to get you on this show. You have to make the most of this opportunity. You've got the popularity. Now you need to build a more relatable, down-to-earth image. Ist sehr daher, deist. Luna. After my life fell apart, everyone condemned me except for Luna. She was the only one who defended me online, saying she would support my choices no matter what. Later, after I'd cut ties with my parents and paid off the massive agency fees, I was broke. It was Luna who secretly helped me out, wiring money to my account. In those final years when I had no one, Luna was the only warmth I had. I threw my arms around her, my eyes turning red. Luna, I'm back. I'm back. Back before everything went so horribly wrong. I'm still that shining, A-list actress. I buried my face in her shoulder, my whole body trembling with emotion. Hey, what's with the tears, drama queen? Luna gently patted my back. Are you just exhausted? Let's get you to the house you'll be staying in. It was supposed to be a lottery, but I secretly arranged everything for you. You're with the Connors family. They're the best off of the 4. Poor Bella got the short end of the stick. She drew the poorest family, Leo's place. It's just a rundown shack with a pigsty right next to it. Stinks to high heaven, ha ha. Luna laughed, trying to comfort me. A chill ran down my spine. I lifted my head from her shoulder and stared at her through my teary eyes. You arranged for me to be with Connor's family? Of course. I know you're high maintenance and can't handle hardship. I had to pull a lot of strings with the production team. Luna gave me a playful wink. My mind was reeling. She specifically got me on this show. She arranged for me to be with Connor. Could the person who destroyed my life have been her? Luna and I were dragging our suitcases down a muddy, 3-way path when we ran into Bella and her assistant. Bella was wearing a sun hat and sunglasses, while her assistant fanned her relentlessly. She stopped when she saw us. Mia, did you bribe the producers? It was supposed to be a random draw, but you pulled strings behind the scenes. I can't stand people like you. Bella was glaring at me, but before I could say a word, her assistant quickly pulled her aside. Come on, boss, just drop it. What difference does it make which house you're in? Easy for you to say. You're not the one living there. It's always so simple when you're not the one suffering. Bella shoved her assistant, who stumbled. Bella quickly steadied her own suitcase. This holds a pair of white elephant statues I brought back from Thailand. They're a welcome gift from my mother-in-law. Don't you dare damage them. According to the show's rules, on the first day, the 4 celebrity daughters-in-law were supposed to bring a gift for their new mothers-in-law. I had brought a gold bracelet. After the show aired, viewers joked that I was the most down-to-earth celebrity, because I knew what rural mothers-in-law really wanted. I watched Bella and her assistant walk away, lost in thought. Bella had just come back from a trip to Thailand. And according to the mystic, dark magic like this was extremely prevalent in Southeast Asia. Could Bella be the one who cursed me? Bella and I both had a similar striking look and were often up for the same roles. But I was always more famous, always a step ahead of her. In my past life, after I stayed in the village and married Connor, Bella took almost all of my endorsement deals and successfully became an A-list star herself. She was a prime suspect. My mind heavy with suspicion, I dragged my suitcase to Connor's house. The cameras were already in place, and when the director gave the signal, filming officially began. Connor and his mother sat awkwardly on the living room sofa. Connor wore a faded t-shirt. He was plain-looking, and his years of smoking had stained his fingernails and teeth yellow. This was the man who looked so honest and simple, yet would later beat me countless times. Disgust and rage churned inside me. I stared at him, frozen. Ahem, the recording has officially started. Mia, isn't it time to give your mother-in-law her welcome gift? The assistant director prompted me from the side. I calmed myself and nodded. Ma'am, this is a gift for you. I didn't offer the gold bracelet. Instead, I handed her a stalk of foxtail weed I'd picked on the side of the road. The live chat exploded. OMG, did Mia just give her a weed? What is she doing? Is she looking down on country people? The show was being broadcast live, and according to the rules, once filming started, the directors couldn't intervene. The directors' faces turned pale, but they could only stand by and watch. Connor scratched his head, looking embarrassed. Mia, what's the meaning of this? Oh, does she not like the gift? I spent a long time picking it out. I held the weed out to Connor's mom with a look of utter seriousness. Her mouth twitched, and then she lunged forward, slapping the back of my hand hard. With a sharp smack, a red mark appeared on my hand, and the weed fell to the ground. You little bitch, what's your game? Who do you think you are, looking down on us? We may be from the country, but we're decent people, better than some trash who sleeps with men for money. Connor's mom's face was contorted with rage as she unleashed a torrent of insults. She was a sensitive and explosive person, easily set off. In my past life, she had put on a good act for the first few days of filming, which made my fans call me spoiled. This time, I was going to expose her true colors from the very beginning. I wanted everyone to see just how hateful she and her son really were. Her cursing was so foul that the live chat, which had initially been criticizing me, started to turn. Wow, her language is filthy. Did you see the look in her eyes? It's like she wants to kill someone. Kind of scary. Yeah, this mother-in-law is no saint either. Once she had cursed her fill, I looked down at the weed on the floor as if just realizing my mistake. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry, ma'am. I'm truly sorry. That wasn't what I meant to give you. I pulled the gold bracelet out of my bag and handed it to her with an apologetic smile. This is the real gift I prepared for you. I don't know what came over me just now, it was like I was possessed. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's because of some family issues lately. I was just distracted. I bowed to her in apology, then apologized to the production crew, promising to stay focused and not make such a mistake again. I knew it. Mia isn't that kind of person. Yeah, she looked dazed the moment she walked in. Something was definitely off. Maybe something's going on at home. It happens. I once threw a banana in the trash and tried to eat the peel because I was distracted. LOL, I've done that too. Mia seems normal, but Connor's mom's reaction was totally out of line. Totally. That mother-in-law is terrifying. Look how red Mia's hand is. Poor thing. The more sincere my apology, the more malicious Connor's mother appeared. The live chat was now filled with comments dragging her. Connor's face was beet red. Mia, don't mind her. My mom's just like that, all bark and no bite. She'll be over it in a minute. Connor's mom grudgingly took the bracelet from me and turned to go into the kitchen. I have something for you too. The show's rules required an exchange of gifts. After accepting my gold bracelet, Connor's mom came out of the kitchen with a pair of plastic gloves. Connor smiled gently beside her. See, Mia? My mom knows city people are delicate and have soft skin. She bought you these gloves. If you wear them for chores, you won't hurt your hands. Thank you. I accepted the gloves with a calm expression. You know, that Connor guy is pretty thoughtful. Are you kidding me? You can have that kind of thoughtfulness. Right? Telling someone to do chores is thoughtful? He just opens his mouth and does nothing. What a phony. Because of their dislike for Connor's mom, the audience was starting to view Connor with suspicion as well. After breakfast, as Connor and I were about to head out for farm work, his mom called me over and told me to hold out my hand. She had a poultice of green herbs in a ceramic bowl, which she applied to the back of my hand. Mia, I'm just a blunt person. Don't take it to heart. This will help the swelling go down. Thank you, ma'am. You know about medicine? I asked casually. Connor smiled shyly beside me. My mom's from the Gu clan. My great-grandmother was even the clan's folk healer. Everyone in the village went to her when they were sick. It was a simple statement, but it sent shockwaves through me. According to the mystic, this kind of dark magic was popular in Southeast Asia, but its origins were in China's Gu clan and Maoshan school of sorcery. There were different kinds of spells, those using potions, blood, and spirits. The potion-based ones came from the Gu clan's practices. So, could Connor's mom have been the one who cursed me? Wow, that's amazing. The Gu clan. I've heard that the Gu people can cast spells. Can you do that, ma'am? I asked, feigning curiosity. Connor's mom's expression changed instantly. No. There's no such thing. Don't listen to rumors. Her expression seems really unnatural. Could she really cast spells? It sounds so mysterious. It's definitely fake. That's not scientific. But to be fair, his mom really is straightforward. Curses you out 1 minute. Gives you medicine the next. She's not all bad. Connor's mom refused to talk about spells, but on the way to the fields, I kept bringing up the topic with Connor. Connor, I've heard that besides hexes, many people in the Gu clan know about dark magic. Do you know anything about that? Connor hesitated. Well, I haven't heard anything about it. I gave a cold "oh," then quickened my pace, leaving him far behind. When he caught up, I made sure to keep at least 3 feet between us, my expression full of disdain. Isn't Mia being a little too harsh? Aren't they supposed to be playing a couple? She seems so disgusted by Connor. Yeah, it's not like Connor did anything to her. He seems pretty honest. Honest? Did you see how viciously his mom was cursing? I bet he's no better. He's probably just faking it. Didn't his mom apologize? I actually think people like her are easier to deal with. They yell when they're mad, and then it's over. Why is Mia so obsessed with hexes and spells? The second she heard Connor didn't know anything, she just ignored him. That's pretty telling. This dark magic was mysterious and unpredictable. I was already in the village, and I didn't know who the real culprit was. Even in this new life, I had no guarantee I could avoid being cursed. But I needed to plant a seed of doubt in the audience's mind. I couldn't be as pleasant to Connor and his mother as I was before, just to maintain a relatable image. In my past life, when I insisted on marrying Connor, all the clips of me praising him and being affectionate on the show were edited together by someone to serve as proof that I had fallen for him long ago. Now, with my disgusted attitude, if I were to be cursed again, at least public opinion wouldn't be so one-sided, claiming I was just lovesick. As for my public image, I couldn't worry about that right now. Connor and I went to the well to fetch water, and we found Bella and her partner, Leo, already there. Leo was a young guy in his early 20s with a dark tan. He had Bella rest on the side while he did all the work. "Hey Connor, you guys are here too. Want me to get that for you?" Leo tried to take the bucket from my hands, but Bella pulled him back. "Look at you, you silly goose. You're stealing her screen time." Bella said it with a flirtatious pout. Leo's face turned bright red as he scratched his head and stood awkwardly to the side. Connor smiled good-naturedly. "Thanks, Leo, but we've got it." The village well had a wooden frame over it with a bucket attached. You turned a crank on the side to raise the water. Connor started cranking while I went to place our wooden bucket underneath to catch the water. I bent down and suddenly felt a sharp pain in my calf. I looked down and saw Leo's family's metal pail. The handle was wrapped with wire, and a sharp end was sticking out, which had scratched my leg. "Oh my God, you're bleeding!" Bella cried out from beside me. She pulled a tissue from her pocket and rushed over to press it against the wound. "Leo, there are bandages in my bag on the coffee table. Go get them for me." Bella's actually pretty nice. Her first instinct was to help Mia. Yeah, their fan bases are always at war, but maybe they're actually friends behind the scenes. You guys are so naive. With all these cameras on them, they have to pretend to be nice even if they hate each other. It's all about crafting an image. Don't take the show so seriously. A moment later, the bandages arrived, and Bella carefully applied one. "There. That thing was all rusty, so you should probably get a tetanus shot later. The production crew should have some." "Thank you, Bella." I thanked her sincerely. Bella just nodded nonchalantly, then casually stuffed the bloody tissue into her pocket. She was wearing overalls with a white t-shirt today, looking youthful and energetic. There was a large pocket on the chest of her overalls. I stared at that pocket, my heart skipping a beat. To cast this kind of curse, the caster needed the victim's hair, blood, or flesh. That tissue was soaked in my blood. I reached out to Bella. "I can throw that paper away myself." Bella rolled her eyes. "There's no trash can here, so I was just holding on to it. The way you're acting, it's like you think I'm some kind of creep who wants to keep your used tissues. What's your problem?" Bella angrily tossed the tissue back at me. Yeah, Mia's being really weird. Maybe Mia just didn't want to bother her. I think Bella overreacted. They probably already had issues. Wow, they can't even pretend for 1 minute. Who was it that said they were friends? In the morning, we fetched water and did laundry. In the afternoon, we went up the mountain to pick tea leaves. After a full day of farm work, I was exhausted. Connor had been trailing me all day, but I hadn't said a single word to him. After dinner, we finally had a break. The cameras were off during this time. I went back to my room, and Luna had the team medic give me a tetanus shot. Then she tapped my arm, looking at me with a mix of frustration and disappointment. "Girl, what was with you today? We agreed on a down-to-earth, relatable image, and you wouldn't even say a word to Connor. Just look at what they're saying about you online." Luna opened up the social media fan forums and showed me the comments. The top comment was about how Mia Sutton looked down on country people. Whatever. I'm dead tired. Fine. Get some rest. You have to be up at 7 tomorrow. I took off my dirty jacket and went to take a shower. It wasn't until after I was clean that I remembered the bloody tissue was still in my jacket pocket. When I came out in my pajamas, Luna was gone. The door was closed and the room was empty. My jacket was on the floor. I knelt, reached into the pocket, and my face went pale. The tissue was gone. I immediately called Luna. "Luna, did you take anything from my pocket? What's wrong? Is something missing? Oh God, you didn't bring any expensive jewelry, did you?" "It's nothing. Just lost a hair tie." On the other end of the line, Luna audibly relaxed. "You've got a whole bag of them in your vanity case. Just grab another one." I hung up the phone, my mind racing. I had only been in the village for a day, but Connor's mom, Luna, and Bella, who had suddenly been so helpful, were all suspects. I couldn't just sit back and wait for something to happen. I picked up my phone and texted a few close friends, telling them something felt off about this village, and asking them to find me a spiritual master. "Mia, didn't you used to hate all this stuff? So many people in our industry have their little superstitions, but you never believed in any of it. But speaking of masters, I actually do know one. I met her when I was filming a show in the Appalachian Mountains. She's young, but she's the real deal. Reading the text from my friend, Liam, my eyes lit up. Can you give me her number? Liam sent over a number, explaining that the person was a college student named Jordan. My heart sank a little. A college student? So young in this line of work, what could she possibly know? But Liam was a devout Christian, and had always been the most rational person I knew. If even he vouched for her, she must have some special ability. I felt a slight sense of relief and lay down on the bed, exhausted. I quickly fell asleep. In the middle of the night, I suddenly had a strange feeling. I rolled over and groggily opened my eyes. A dark figure was standing by my bed, leaning over and staring at me. My heart pounded in my chest. I held my breath, my body rigid. The figure stood there for a long time, their gaze fixed on my face. Then they reached out, touched my hair, pulled my blanket up, and turned to leave. Hearing the door click shut, I sat up, gasping for air. It was Connor. I'd felt a sharp tug on my scalp. He had pulled out one of my hairs. I sat in the silent darkness, tears streaming down my face. I felt like a lone boat adrift on a vast ocean, surrounded by countless shadows lurking in the dark. Luna, Bella, Connor, and his mother, I couldn't trust anyone around me. If I didn't find the real culprit, even if I quit the show right now and went back to LA, they would still find a way to get to me. I couldn't just be a sitting duck. After some thought, I took out my phone and sent a text to my family and a few friends. If I start acting strangely after this show, you have to help me. Then I entered the number Liam gave me and sent a friend request. There was no response. It was late, she was probably asleep. After doing all this, I felt a bit calmer. I turned off my phone and forced myself to close my eyes. The next morning, as soon as I turned on my phone, a notification popped up. Jordan has accepted your friend request. I was both shocked and overjoyed. I immediately called her and explained the situation. What? A curse? Someone's trying to harm you. A breathless voice came from the other end of the line, sounding like she was out for a run. They took your hair and the bloody tissue is missing? Oh, don't worry. It's not a huge deal. Jordan explained that for both Gu Clan love spells and tie binding spells, hair was a crucial component. In ancient times, when a couple got married, they would cut a lock of each other's hair and wrap them together in red cloth. This was the origin of the term joined by hair, a symbol of eternal love. It wasn't just a baseless custom. Hair represents our worldly attachments and emotions. Monks shave their heads to sever these ties because ancient sorcery taught that a person's emotions are embedded in their hair. To perform a binding spell, the caster first creates a palm-sized doll from straw or cloth. They draw a binding sigil in cinnabar on both the front and back, then soak the doll in corpse oil for 49 days. Once the doll changes color, they wrap it with the first strand of hair from both the victim and the person casting the spell. For the next 7 days, they wrap one newly fallen hair from each person around the doll every day. On the 7th day, with 14 strands of hair wrapped around it, the doll is burned to ashes. The ashes are then mixed with water, and the victim is made to drink it. Only then does the spell take effect. I was stunned. 49 days? It couldn't have been Connor. We had just met. The only people who could have been planning this for so long were Luna or Bella. But it was Connor who pulled my hair last night, and the doll needed 7 of his hairs, too. He was definitely an accomplice. That thing is soaked in corpse oil, so it's full of dark energy. If you want to break the spell, it's actually pretty simple. Find a rooster in the village, one that's at least 3 years old. Pour its blood on the doll, and the spell will be broken. He's coming to get more of your hair tonight, right? When he does, secretly follow him and find out where the altar is. Once a ritual altar is set up, it can't be moved. You can find a chance to destroy it during the day. Jordan's tone was cheerful, yet it had a strangely calming effect. I slowly regained my composure. She was right. This kind of dark magic could only thrive in the shadows. If it were dragged into the light, they would be the ones who should be afraid. Mia, it's time to start filming. Let me hold on to your things. Luna walked over with a smile. I nodded and handed her my phone. Take it easy today, alright? Be a little nicer to Connor, or it'll be hard to explain to the agency, you know? I know. I answered dismissively. But as soon as filming started, my attitude toward Connor grew even worse. I barely even looked at him. Mia, have some water. Connor handed me a cup, and I immediately turned my head away. I don't need it. I can get it myself. Seeing this, Connor's mom immediately started yelling. What are you so proud of? You'll still end up as a wife in this family, nice and obedient. Then she turned to glare at her son. Why are you so desperate, trying to kiss up to her all day? Once she's in your room, she'll be yours to handle anyway. The live chat, which had been criticizing me, immediately turned on her. This old woman really thinks Mia is her daughter-in-law? This is hilarious. Does she think filming a show means they're actually going to give her a daughter-in-law? Right? And what was that about being his to handle in his room? What kind of talk is that? This family is seriously messed up. But Mia's attitude toward Connor is also terrible. The show is about her being a daughter-in-law, not a princess. I don't know why she's being so arrogant. Realizing she had misspoken, Connor's mom shot me a frustrated glare. Had enough rest? Go water the vegetable garden this afternoon. I ignored Connor all day. After filming, Luna lectured me again. I finally made it to the evening, lay down in bed and pretended to be asleep. Sure enough, Connor came again. Even with my eyes closed, I could feel his intense gaze fixed on my face. A rough hand caressed my cheek. Then came the slight sting on my scalp as Connor plucked another hair. He leaned in, his lips close to my cheek. The strong smell of stale smoke filled my nose. I fought back the urge to gag and pretended to roll over in my sleep. Connor froze. A moment later, I heard footsteps, and the door gently closed. I immediately threw off the covers, put on my shoes, and followed him. Connor's family was well off for the village, living in a new 3-story house. He and his mother lived on the 2nd floor. The 3rd floor had 3 rooms. Luna's was next to the stairs, and mine was at the far end. The lights were off, and the hallway was only dimly lit by the moonlight, casting everything in a hazy gray. I held my breath. I had only taken a few steps out of my room when I saw another figure standing at the top of the stairs. Terrified, I pressed myself flat against the wall. Did you get it? It was a familiar voice. Luna. What took you so long? You didn't do anything stupid, did you? I'm warning you, after these next few days, you can do whatever you want with her. But if you wake her up now and cause a scene, it'll be big trouble. Luna hissed at Connor in a low voice. I bit my lip hard, tears welling up in my eyes. It really was her. I had always considered Luna my best friend. When we graduated from college, she couldn't find a job. I had just been discovered by a talent scout and was already gaining some fame. I turned down the agency's top agent and insisted on bringing her with me. I paid her the highest salary, took her traveling around the world, and showered her with designer cosmetics and bags. I thought I had treated her well. Why would she do this to me? I trembled with rage, my fists clenched tightly. Taking a deep breath, I forced myself to calm down and tiptoed after them. Connor's house had a cellar. Next to the kitchen was a woodshed, cluttered and dusty, which I had never entered. At the back of the woodshed, a curtain concealed a staircase leading down. The cellar wasn't large. I didn't dare follow them all the way down, so I crouched at the top of the stairs, peeking in. An altar stood against the wall, its table covered with a white cloth scrawled with chaotic symbols. In front of the altar, a white-haired old woman knelt on a cushion with her back to me, her hands clasped, muttering incantations. Connor, his mother, and Luna sat behind her, watching her nervously. "Grandaunt, how many more days will it take?" Connor whispered impatiently. His mother shot him a fierce glare. "Shut up. Why are you in such a hurry?" Luna chimed in. "That's right, Auntie, you need to set him straight. Look at him, acting like he hasn't seen a woman in 1,000 years. Every time he goes into Mia's room, he stays forever. If he scares her off, your wife will be gone, and so will your future fortune." My eyes widened, and I clamped my hand over my mouth. "Auntie? Luna was related to them? Do you have any idea how much money celebrities make? Just from the contracts I've secured for Mia these past few years, She's made at least 9 figures. Huh? We were college roommates. I got better grades than her. So why is it that I have to run around after her like a maid every day? She thinks she's so generous, giving me skincare and bags that brands give her for free, like a master rewarding a servant. Every time I see that high and mighty look on her face, I just want to scratch it off. In the dim yellow light, Luna's face was twisted with a Jungning expression. I've been in love with Liam for years. Why does she get to have dinner with him, go shopping with him, and do kissing scenes with him, while I can only watch from a distance? And the best part? She gave me an autographed photo of Liam and called it a surprise. Ha ha ha, how hilarious. Is an autograph all I deserve? Grandaunt, if the binding spell on my cousin and Mia succeeds, I want you to do one for me and Liam next. I'll pay you double. The old woman on the cushion kept her eyes closed, her cheekbones high, and continued to chant. I couldn't listen anymore. A little help is appreciated, but too much breeds resentment. To think I had been nurturing a snake in my bosom all these years. I stumbled out of the woodshed and stood in the yard. The cold wind hit me, and I suddenly changed my mind. Even if I destroyed the altar, what punishment would Luna face? Nothing had happened yet. Her actions weren't even a crime. All I could do was fire her, and nothing more. I clenched my fists. I wouldn't accept that. I wanted Luna to suffer the same fate I had in my past life. I slipped back into Luna's room and took a few strands of hair from her pillow. After they all left, I crept back into the cellar and swapped my 2 hairs with Luna's. The next day during filming, I continued to give Connor the cold shoulder. We were watering the vegetable garden, and Connor called me over to rest. There's so much to do, no need to rush. Mia, sit down for a bit. I stood up straight and looked at the small patch of land by his feet, frowning. It's only been an hour, and you've already told me to rest 4 or 5 times. It's not that much work. I'm not that delicate. And you look at yourself. You've watered less than I have. I continued working, muttering under my breath. I really don't know what Luna sees in you. Connor stood there, his face beet red, completely at a loss. Haha, Mia really loves farm work. Yeah, she's been working so hard these past few days. Does she think this show is a farming competition? To be honest, Connor is really lazy. All talk, no action. Look, he hasn't even watered a third of what Mia has. What did Mia mean just now? Isn't Luna her agent? Luna's also her best friend. She probably meant choosing Connor as her partner for the show. I don't think Connor's that great either. The guy next door, Leo, is way better, young and hardworking. Connor awkwardly tried to help a few times, but I subtly blocked him. Don't. Luna will just yell at me again. I deliberately made my words ambiguous. It sounded like Luna would be angry with me for tarnishing the company's image, but once everything came to light, every word I said now would become evidence of their pre-existing relationship. 7 days flew by, and finally, it was the last day. After filming wrapped, the production team set up a long table in the village for a farewell dinner and bonfire party for the 4 families and the entire crew. Luna sat beside me, her face grim. Mia, what on earth is wrong with you? Look at your attitude toward Connor. You've barely said 10 words to him in 7 days. Do you have any idea how bad the online backlash is? I've contacted several PR firms, and even they can't spin your performance this week. Ugh, you're so annoying. I've been doing so much farm work every day, and the mosquitoes here are insane. Do you really think I have the energy to put on a happy face for him? Let them say what they want. It's not like I'm losing a pound over it. I put down my glass, looking utterly impatient, and walked away. You're getting really naggy lately. From the side, Bella chimed in sarcastically. That's right, bad press is still press. Say what you will, but your Mia has been trending #1 every day this week. Even if it's for being hated, I'm still jealous, ha ha ha. Luna's face was stern. A little while later, Connor walked over to her, and they whispered for a bit. Luna's expression brightened considerably. She came back and sat next to me, handing me the wine glass from the table. Whatever. I know you. You were like this in college, too. The more you like someone, the meaner you act. Luna said it loudly enough for the people around us to hear. They looked at me with surprise. Bella laughed. Haha, what's that supposed to mean? Don't tell me she actually has a thing for that Connor guy. That's not it. Mia, you've worked hard these past few days. I was in a bad mood earlier. I apologize. Luna started to raise her glass. Just then, the makeup artist, Amy, let out a scream. Everyone turned to look in her direction. And in that instant, I swiftly swapped our glasses. Amy screamed again. A snake. There's a snake. God, everyone is so dramatic. I raised my glass, clinked it against Luna's, and downed the contents in one go. Luna finished her drink as well, her eyes shining with triumph. The next morning, just as I finished getting dressed, the door to my room was suddenly thrown open. Bella stood there, holding her phone up and greeting her live audience dramatically. Filming is over, and today we're heading back. Mia, I heard you have some motion sickness pills. Can I have a few? Seeing me fully dressed and ready, Bella let out a piercing scream. I smirked. Sure enough, the scene was playing out exactly as it had in my past life. In my previous life, on the day we were leaving the village, Bella had come to my room to borrow something while live streaming to her fans. She had burst in to find me and Connor in bed together, clothes in disarray. Our affair was exposed, and I was so shamed I couldn't even lift my head. Back then, I thought it was a coincidence. Looking back now, it was clearly planned by Luna and Bella. All three of them were guilty. Alright, what's with all the screaming so early in the morning? Luna has the motion sickness pills. I'll take you to her. I shot Bella an annoyed look and led her to the room next door. Bella followed, looking completely bewildered. When the door opened, Bella gasped and let out another ear-splitting shriek. Oh my God! You two, what are you doing? On the bed, Connor and Luna were wrapped in a naked embrace, the blanket covering them just to their chests. Luna groggily opened her eyes, and Connor immediately threw the blanket over her face. I quickly stepped in front of Bella's phone. What is wrong with you filming everything? Don't you have any respect for people's privacy? Our commotion was so loud that the doors to the neighboring rooms opened, and the makeup and styling teams came out to see what was happening. Connor's mom, who was clearly prepared for a different scene, rushed upstairs, slapped her thigh, and cried out, "Oh my heavens! What is going on? My Connor isn't this kind of person. It must have been Mia. Mia seduced him." The hallway fell silent. Everyone turned and stared at Connor's mom in utter confusion. I frowned. What are you talking about? Connor's mom was dumbfounded. Why are you here? Then who's in that room? She stormed into the room, ripped the blanket off, and her face went white. Luna, she shrieked. Luna's reaction, however, was surprisingly calm. Auntie, what are you making a scene for? Everyone, please leave so we can get dressed. Connor sat on the bed in a daze, looking from me to Luna, his face filled with regret. Last night, he had come looking for me. But as soon as he reached my door, Luna intercepted him. Luna was young and pretty, and Connor couldn't resist. He immediately forgot all about the curse. They locked themselves in her room, and spent the entire night together. Since things had come to this, Luna decided to come clean. She explained that she and Connor's family were relatives, and that they were childhood sweethearts. Connor, she claimed, was her boyfriend all along. She told us to go on without her. She was staying in the village to build a life with Connor. I spoke up in protest. Luna, are you sure about this? You're my agent. We still have a 3-year contract. You should come back to LA with me first. Even if you really want to marry Connor, you need to handle your work responsibilities. But Luna just clung to Connor's arm, her face beaming with happiness. It's just a penalty fee, right? I'll pay the company. You can handle the rest for me. I just want to stay here. I can't bear to be apart from Connor for even a day. The crew was stunned, but it was Luna's personal business, so no one said much more. They all started packing, preparing to leave. But Connor's mom wasn't having it. She grabbed my arm. You can't leave. You're supposed to stay and be our family's daughter-in-law. There must be a mistake. You're the one, you can't go. Ma'am, it was just a show. Please let go of Mia. The crew members came to intervene, and in the chaos, they pulled me away and rushed me out. Even as the bus pulled away, Connor's mom was still chasing after it, slapping her thighs and cursing. As the bus drove further and further away, Connor's mom's running figure became a tiny black dot in the distance. I finally allowed myself to relax completely, slumping into my seat and covering my face with my hands. I had escaped. All the darkness of my past was behind me. The bus drove along the country road, flanked by lush greenery, with an endless blue sky and hope ahead. The others saw my reaction and assumed I was upset about Luna. They all started comforting me. Let it go. Luna is clearly just lovesick. The conditions in the village might not be great, but they're relatives, so it probably won't be that bad for her. Yeah, I can't believe Connor is her cousin. But you can't marry close relatives, right? She calls his mom auntie. So they can't be that closely related, can they? As everyone chattered, I calmed down and checked my phone. The news about Luna had already gone viral. She was just an agent, not a star, so it wasn't as sensational as my story had been, but plenty of people were talking. Luna is Mia's agent, she must make good money, right? I heard Mia pays her a 7-figure salary. Why would she fall for an old bachelor like that? They said they're related, some childhood sweetheart thing. Nothing you can really say about that, just have to respect her choice. But she can't just do this. It's not like she's rushing to her grave. How can she just abandon her job and leave Mia to clean up the mess? So irresponsible. No wonder Mia was so cold to Connor. She was probably upset for her best friend. Oh right. She even said she didn't know what Luna saw in him. So that's what she meant. The consensus was that Luna was lovesick. No one found it strange that she wanted to marry Connor. Back at the agency, I dealt with the mountain of paperwork, hired a new agent, and was swamped with work. In the midst of it all, Liam called to say he had brought Jordan to LA and wanted to treat me to dinner. I immediately had someone book a restaurant. I owed Jordan everything for what she had done. We were sitting in a private room at the restaurant. I took out a debit card and handed it to Jordan. Jordan, thank you so much for everything. Without you, I don't know what I would have done. Jordan frowned and looked at me, not taking the card. You didn't do what I told you to do. Messing with an altar like that is very dangerous. My heart skipped a beat. I confessed sheepishly. I just couldn't let it go. Yes, well, you touched the corpse oil. There's a dark energy clinging to your fingers now. You're karmically tied to this. In the future, if Luna asks you for help, you must help her 3 times. So that was it. No wonder Luna had lent me money a few times in my past life. Was she just settling a karmic debt? Jordan took the card. As our hands touched, she suddenly gripped my wrist, her eyes widening as she studied it. I panicked. Jordan, what is it? Jordan sighed. Oh, this is trouble. You've been targeted by someone else too. Someone has been feeding a spirit with your blood. I gasped. Feeding a spirit? It had to be Bella. It's another kind of dark magic. They use fresh blood to feed a spirit, and it leeches away your fortune and life force. And this one is powerful. If we don't stop it, you won't live for more than 3 years. Not live for more than 3 years? In my past life, I had indeed only lived for 3 years. I always thought it was because of the binding spell, but it turned out I had been hit with 2 different curses. One person wanted to see me fall from grace, and another wanted me dead. Jordan propped her chin on her hand, rubbing her thumb and forefinger together. This is tricky. Very tricky. I was on the verge of tears. Jordan, how tricky. Money is no object. I had been given a second chance at a normal life. I didn't want to die. Jordan looked at me seriously. In my line of work, we don't talk about money. We talk about fate. Mia, you and I are fated to meet. The price of that fate is $3 million. This kind of magic is different from other spells, especially when it comes to feeding spirits. If the spirit is cut off from its source of blood and energy, it will turn on its master. Jordan performed a few cleansing rituals for me, and soon, I heard that something had happened to Bella. During a film shoot, her safety harness suddenly snapped. She fell from over 30 feet and was left in a coma. The media reported that she would most likely be paralyzed for life. I didn't feel a shred of pity. In 2 lifetimes, she had tried to kill me. She had brought this on herself. I cleared my schedule and went home to spend time with my parents. My father had always had a weak heart. In my past life, the stress and anger over my situation had triggered a fatal heart attack. This time, I would stay by their side and pray that they would both live long, healthy lives. While I was at home, I got a call from Luna. She was crying hysterically, saying that Connor and his mother were both beating her. Mia, can you lend me some money? After I paid the contract penalty, I didn't have much left. My mother-in-law demands gold bracelets and rings every day, and she wants me to buy her a house in the city. I don't have enough for a down payment. Can you lend me $1 million? I let out a cold laugh and offered her some detached comfort. He's abusing you? If it's that bad, you should call the police. Why would you stay with someone like that? I can't do that, Luna stammered. Love can numb the pain. I can't leave Connor. Wow, such a great love. I respect your choice. But I don't have that much cash on hand right now. I can lend you $200,000. After all, that's how much you lent me in our past life. Everything you gave me, I will return in full. Luna wasn't cursed with a spirit, so she didn't have the same short lifespan I did. She stayed in that village for many years. She had 2 children with Connor. When his mother realized they couldn't squeeze any more money out of her, they began to torture her relentlessly. I heard Luna's parents went to the village a few times to try to bring her home, but she refused to leave. The 2 families got into massive, violent fights. But none of that was my problem anymore. She made her bed, and now she had to lie in it. I was on my own path. What goes around comes around. Those who harbor malice and intentionally harm others will inevitably suffer the consequences themselves. The end.